Listening to WCSB Cleveland, 89.3 FM, streaming live from Cleveland State University's.
As a nonprofit student-run radio station, we proudly amplify underrepresented voices, offering a platform for alternative music, news, and ethnic programming that reflects our vibrant community.
And thank you again for listening to 89.3 WCSB Cleveland.
It didn't start with the discussion about how to stop student programming on WCSB.
For years, as long as I can remember, we've been kind of saying, like, we don't think the university likes us. We think that the first chance they get to get rid of us, they're probably going to do it. But we've been saying that for years and it hadn't happened. So we're just kind of like, yeah, we think it'll happen, but no, it's not going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. Right? And then
Cleveland State University's student-run radio station is no more. The sounds of student voices have been replaced with smooth jazz.
It's not a smooth jazz station.
That's when WCSB changed to the new terrestrial home of Jazz Neo, IdeaStream Public Media's 24/7 jazz service.
And while our cameras were rolling,
It was supposed to discuss how we can work closer together and ensure our funding.
CSU says this new partnership with IdeaStream will create professional development and career opportunities for its students.
I want to acknowledge that this does feel like a tremendous loss to members of the community and certainly the students engaged with the radio program.
We had less than 24 hours notice to pack up 50 years of history, and now they're going to kick us out of this station.
I was pissed. I was really pissed. Not just because of the not being able to do the show anymore, but we had so many archives in there that hadn't been put into the cloud, so to speak. They were on hard drives, years and years and years and years of shows. We had a station member pass away recently. We had like a ton of his work stored at the station, and all the memorabilia from over the years, and then of course the library, and all of that is just gone. I think a lot of people kind of saw the writing on the wall when we got that Zoom invite from Laura Bloomberg, and then all of a sudden we heard, oh, the executive staff has gotten a Zoom invite before that.
As of now, WCSB, the FM station, will be focused on Jazz Neo, and programming will be the purview of IdeaStream Public Media.
The fact that CSU chose to do it on World College Radio Day, I can't speak for anybody else, but I don't know that I'll ever be able to get over that. They basically gave the station away for nothing, and so I don't know how anybody who was a part of WCSB, whether it was early on, when they segued from being like essentially a closed circuit radio station, to being what it was right before CSU decided to hand it off to IdeaStream.
So it was shocking. Did I expect it coming? Sort of. Did I expect it coming so soon? No, I did not. Did I expect it would come without like any warning? No, I didn't think that would happen either. Like, I've always had this, like, everyone kind of collectively, I felt like we all had this like joke where it was like, oh, one day they're just going to come shut us down, right? Because I guess historically, we would go in periods and cycles of, this school kind of separating from us, and like rumors happening that they were going to get rid of us, and then we would kind of build those bonds back again and become more integrated with the school. It was just this constant cycle, and I think a lot of it had to depended probably too on like who was president at the college, and just kind of what was going on.
If you're not getting a response from anybody and they're essentially like dropping out of communication, you're one step away from being ghosted, if I'm going to use, my kids' terminology a little bit. You're not getting any sort of response from anybody. That's usually a pretty bad sign. Donations to our student volunteer station funded the operations, equipment, and more there, and those things are being held hostage by the university, and you add that to everything else, and what you're left with is a real sad stasis as far as I can see. None of what has happened since October needed to happen. It didn't need to be this way, And with a little thought and care, none of where things stand now really ever needed to happen or need to be explored. We haven't even been able to collect our personal effects. It's all still locked up in the station now for, however many months. They took away the call letters and the station, and they're holding our stuff hostage too. It's just wrong all the way around.
I could speak for myself. I can't speak on behalf of others, but I know a lot of people struggled really hard, a lot. They struggled a lot during that time. The first few months of the takeover, it was like I was grieving like I lost a friend or a loved one. I mean, the last time I felt that level of grief is when I actually lost a friend, like a dead friend. And I couldn't believe that I was experiencing this amount of grief and anger. And I think, the fact that the way it was done and the way it was being handled and the way we were being belittled by the university and by IdeaStream is just kind of not important, and it's nothing anyway. Oh, it's just a bunch of students, or it's this, that, and the other.
I didn't know the distinction between clubs at Cleveland State University and other degree-related programs. So my understanding is that the radio station was a club, something like the chess club or the drama club or one of those clubs. And what I heard Dr. Bloomberg say is that her biggest and highest priority is on degree programs and getting kids ready for careers.
And I just felt like we were being stomped on. I felt like, and it was like this thing that I poured so much of my energy and passion and time into, and just to watch it completely be stripped away so carelessly and just without any care, without any compassion, was absolutely heartbreaking and disturbing, really.
Sending out this email and things like that, would you have handled it differently now, knowing what you do and looking back at it?
My answer is not going to be satisfactory, and it's no, I wouldn't have done it differently.
It was a surprise, but not. And I kind of thought, well, maybe this is a sign that I should just quit. Since they're taking it away, I'll just, step aside. But then I was like, no, I can't do this. So I'm going to be back on XCSB.
XCSB is now what former WCSB was, a continuation.
There's a lot that's exciting about the move. We don't have to worry about FCC guidelines anymore.
Even though we have lost, I do think we have the chance to gain. We have more freedom now that we don't have to have that connection with Cleveland State University. We could do things on our own. We don't have to worry about going through the bureaucracies and filling out all this paperwork for the university just to ignore us. I see the future of XCSB being a little bit more community-centric, more out there in the community, because for survival, I think we have to. It's not like we have this crutch of the university underneath us. We are now just our own entity.
The location of the new studio being so close to the Beachland Ballroom and the other things that are in the Cleveland Rocks Past, Present, and Future building leads me to believe that we can have some very exciting broadcasting happening.
I've never met so many eccentric, individual humans in my entire life. Nothing in my life has prepared me to deal with people more than WCSB has. And I love them. And I love them for their eccentricness. And I just love them for their individual uniqueness. And I think people that listen to WCSB love them for that too. It went far beyond the music.